Fadl. Fadl.
Brother asked a question. He wanted some advice. He said, my wife is a self-employed Quran teacher and teaches 3 hours a day, 4 days a week from our home. In total, about 13 students in class, I'll say 5, 6 each. He says, my wife increased the fee she charges from 15 to 20 pounds since January. I've discovered that one of the parents haven't been paying the new fees, and my wife has let it slide. They have 2 children at our madrasa. He is asking not to pay the increased fee, but has not given the reason. He's not wealthy, but lives down our street, and so I assume he has a similar income to myself. All the other students' parents, to my knowledge, have agreed to pay the increased fee. I will be speaking to the father and say that if he doesn't want to pay the fee increased, his children can leave early from the classes, as I don't think he should be having to pay less than everyone for the same quantity of lessons. Am I being harsh or unjust in this, or do you think this is justified?
And this question is from where once more?
From London, UK.
Tayyip.
It's from the UK.
All right, bismillah. Question from London. Alhamdulillah, is a long question, but the details are good. The details are good, and they're needed details. The summary is that we have a madrasa for Quran in our home. We've increased the prices or the fee. One person refuses to comply to that increased fee. Can I remove his children from our madrasa or give him half of a day? Should I confront him? Is it being harsh? Should I let it slide, etc.? At the end of the day, I don't think it's being harsh. Even if he has a financial difficulty and he has problems with income, or he's in debt, or he's sick, or he injured himself, I don't think it's being harsh. This is the service that we provide for the children, and this is the compensation that we request. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing good is cheap. You want quality, you have to pay for it. And I would say this is one of the biggest problems that we have today as Muslims. We want everything for free when it comes to the religion. We have the most expensive cars, the best houses, the most expensive brand name clothes, the most expensive doctor, mechanic. But the imam, the scholar, the sheikh, the sister, fi sabilillah. This is reality. It has to be for the face of Allah. You can't take money for this. You can't charge money. That's being harsh. You're being extreme. Fi sabilillah, the shoes that you have on, the car that you're driving, the house that you have, that's not fi sabilillah. You pay this, you buy that, you cost top dollar for the glasses that you're wearing. Top-notch frame. That's not fi sabilillah. You can't go into that store, the optometrist say, fi sabilillah. They'll tell you to scram, as we always say. When we were in Malaysia, right, the Rolex store, there's a guard at the door. It's not no normal average watch place. How can we help you? It's just that simple. It's just that what? It's that simple. So my grandmother, when I was younger, she wasn't a Muslim. She would always tell us, you get what you pay for. That was her famous cliche. You get what you pay for. So you want someone to be a good quality teacher and to be devoted to the class and to give his or her all. You have to pay them, because Pampers aren't free. Rent is not free. Hospital bill isn't free. When you walk with your little daughter down the street, she says, Abby, buy me a ice cream cone or some cotton candy. That's not what? Free. And I cannot teach the class and focus and review and prepare and be precise if I'm worrying about bills and this and that and stress. It doesn't work like that. So this is the Quran classes these are the Quran classes that we provide. This is the service that we provide. These are our qualifications, and this is what we expect as compensation. If you can't do that, Jazakallah khairan for coming. I'm sure there are other brothers and sisters who provide services for a more what? Affordable price. Or maybe even. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I would tell you not to compromise. If you feel like that the half a day is okay, tayyib. La bats, that's in the middle, but it's opened up the door for more people to start shorting you. This is the bottom line. This is what we charge, and that's the bottom line. You can't charge money for Quran, it's too much. Shukran, jazakallah khairan. Shukran. Next. It's that simple. Period. There's no complications. No complications are needed. I don't understand this. People have to get paid. to do a proper what? Service. To do a proper service. Half service, different story. I do what I want, I come when I want, what? Different story. Precision, you have to pay for that. All right? So therefore, humbly tell them, don't ask him any questions, don't meddle into his business, how much money he makes. Just humbly ask him, inshallah, we've raised the prices, jazakallah khairan, really appreciate it. And if he can't or he's having a difficulty, jazakallah khairan. If you want to do it for the face of Allah yourself, that's nothing wrong. That's fine, alhamdulillah. Your ajr, your reward is with Allah. But don't publicize it. Because then someone else will say, what? Do it for the face of Allah. And the next thing you know, your wife will be teaching all day, every day, and she will not be compensated for her time, her energy, and for her efforts. And Allah knows best. I don't know. But in most cases, what they're asking for is something that's extremely reasonable. In most cases, it's reasonable. And it's not something which is breaking the people's backs. It's not too much money. Everyone understand this? It's a reasonable price. All right? So that's what I would say. Don't compromise. If you want to do it for the sake of Allah, there's nothing wrong with that. But keep that discreet. And do not allow that door to be opened up, because everyone will take advantage of you. And no one is going to be there for you when you need something for your family. I'm telling you from experience. The people who run you thin and here and there, they won't be for you when you have to call them late at night or early in the morning. I have an emergency. They won't be there. So you have to earn money. You have to save money. There's nothing wrong with that. Are you trying to rip people off? No. Are you trying to become a millionaire off of the deen? No. The money that you get as a Quran teacher, as a speaker, as an honorarium is a trifle. A trifle compared to what things cost in the modern world. Everyone understand this? So you're not getting paid for the words of Allah. You're getting paid for your time. And you're getting paid for your agreement and for you being in a place. And we've explained this before, huh? Other brothers who had this misconception. Oh, you take money for a class, so that means you're not Salafi. That's stupidity. Utter stupidity. And there's no political way of putting it. Utter stupidity. It's not true. No one can pay me for what I teach. You can't pay for Bukhari and Muslim. There's no amount of money that you can give me for what you're getting. But for me to be here at a specific time and to cancel all other agreements and arrangements and put everything personal in my life aside, that is an agreement. That's contractual. And I have to be compensated for that. Everyone understand that? If I want to come and do a class, that's fine. If you ask me a question, and even within that argument, there's a deeper argument as well. Because when the class is over, is the class over after the Khif? How many people ask questions? What did they do in the UK, Khalid? How many questions did we answer after the class? Abu Sayyid had to tell the brother, stop, let him eat his food. So hypothetically speaking, I'm working only to get paid, hypothetically speaking. I talk, you pay me, that's it. After the khutbah, after the class, don't ask me no questions. Don't walk me to the car. Don't take down my number. Do we say that? So that's not even true. That's not true. And what would your masjid be or your center be if the speakers and the teachers could come and go when they want to? How chaotic would the world become today? Because I can't come, I have something that popped up. Or I have to take care of my this, or my wife's having a baby, or my other job called me in. How would things run successfully if it wasn't a contractual agreement? We need you here at 7:30 p.m. Please, Jazakallah khairan. Speak for this long, talk on this, shukran, this is a token of our appreciation. There's nothing wrong with that. You have to pay gas, you have to pay tolls, there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone understand this? So the concept of a person being in a place and sticking to a job, that's one thing. You don't get paid for the deen. You can't pay a Quran teacher. Teach your child the words of Allah. What could you possibly give them? You give them a diamond ring. There's nothing to what your child has learned from this person. So that's my advice with regards to the specific situation. And with regards to the situation as a whole of contractual agreements, financial agreements, when it comes to ilm and deen and da'wah and things like this. And we've explained the dalil and the proofs and evidence for this in the video Loud But Unheard. Our what? Sub Underground YouTube channel. And Allah knows best. Next question.
Okay. This was BH from Poland to Poland. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. May Allah bless you. How does a person know that he is good to his parents? Is or when is extreme in daily life?
Questions from Poland. How does one know that he's good to his parents? You know by following the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah. And oftentimes the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah regarding the parents are inexplicit. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. It's inexplicit. It's not explicit. So that takes you to step number 2. And that is following the custom and the tradition of the people. Following the tradition and the custom of the people, as long as it doesn't go against the explicit teachings of Quran and Sunnah. All right? If your mother says, wear this crucifix for me, or make sujood to me, you can't do that, even though that's the custom of the people of Poland, hypothetically speaking. But if she says, carry me on your back, I want to walk on your, carry me on my back, or carry me on your back to the supermarket. Is there an ayah or a hadith that goes against that? And that's the custom of the people of Poland? You carry her on your back. You follow the tradition and the custom of your people as long as it is not haram. As long as it is not explicitly mentioned, do not do this, do not say this, he who does this will have the fire, etc. Whatever it is. Giving your mother money, sitting with her, taking her places, whatever it is. You follow the tradition and the custom of your people, even if they're non-Muslim. If they're Polish people who are Christian or Jews, whoever they are, as long as it is not against the teachings of that are explicit. You understand this? And last but not least, you use common sense. Treat your mother how you want to be treated when you get older. Think about how it feels if you had arthritis or diabetes or cancer. Or just think about when you were a little youngster and you couldn't walk up the steps by yourself. Or your mother was walking too fast. Or you got tired and you want someone to put you on their neck and their back. And the same applies to your mother now. She's old. Her ankles are swollen. Her knees hurt. Her back hurts. Pick her up. Walk with her. Buy her a nice wheelchair. Take care of her. Look after her. Give her the best health care that you possibly can. Well, I give it to the best of your what? Means. And oftentimes, even if your mother isn't that old, because his mother doesn't have to be that old. We're just saying hypothetically at worst. Spend time with your mother. Talk with her. Visit her. Sit down and have tea and coffee with her. Conversate with her, even if she isn't a Muslim. And most importantly, give her dawah. That's the greatest good treatment of your parents, is to call them to Islam. Teach them about Islam. Tell them why you are and what you are. And if they are Muslims already, then educate them and enlighten them. Because they may be practicing cultural Islam. They migrated to Poland from another country in which they weren't taught the correct way. Or they practice bid'ah. Or they maybe even do sihr. Or they may have some superstitions or things. Educate them. That's the greatest ihsan. It's to teach your parents the correct deen. All right? That's what I would do. And I would say, Wallahu alam. Inshallah, we'll go back to Khidr's question.
Yeah, some of the things we learned from the sunnah, the general public might not be able to accept due to the ignorance. So should we just implement and do, and quote unquote, do our thing?
Tight. Brother Khidr asks about certain things that we learn from the sunnah, the general people, the general mass may not be able to accept. It's too much for them. What should we do? Like I just said, teach them, educate them, propagate it, explain it, let it be loud and heard. Inshallah, and gradually implement it. Gradually implement it. But every few or so steps you take, you have to make a jump. And which some people are going to become angry and upset. And their feathers are going to be ruffled. They're going to have a disgruntled customer every now and then. But I'm sorry, sir, we've changed our policy. That special is no longer at this restaurant. But we can offer you a free drink. But that special that you're looking for, I'm sorry, is discontinued. That was my favorite meal. This doesn't make any sense. It's smaller. I'm sorry, sir. Here's our free drink, complimentary dessert, so on and so forth. You have to push them along. And you cannot allow the ignorant people to dominate. Until when will we say they aren't ready? Until when? Till when will we say that? When? 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? No, it doesn't work like that. Knowledge does not submit to ignorance. Ignorance must submit to what? Knowledge. As the Lord tells us, that we hurl the truth towards the falsehood. And the truth does what? It gives it a concussion. It knocks his brains out. The truth does not submit to falsehood. Ignorance is not dominant over ilm. It's the opposite. But how can that be done if we're always taking a defensive stance and we're running and hiding and cowering and bending over and toning it down and tuning it down? It can't be like that. But it doesn't mean that we jump into it recklessly. It doesn't mean that we don't take into consideration the state of the what? Of the people. We take into consideration, but we do not submit to it. And they have to follow what? Us. And if a few people get angry, so be it. Everyone understand this? It's a battle. And there is no way of winning a battle without casualties. Someone has to what? It's the nature of life. It's the nature of what? It's the nature of life. Right? So that's my advice. And it's a very, very big responsibility upon the young brothers and sisters in Malaysia and other places. And we told the brothers before we left. The responsibility that you have of teaching and educating, of learning yourself. with gentleness, with hikmah, with sabr. But you have to what? Give them a push and make them jump every now and then. Wallahu a'lam. Fadl.
From the different tafsir, which one of them would you say is the most beneficial pound for pound?
From the different tafsir, what is the most beneficial one pound for pound? I'm definitely biased towards Ibn Kathir, without a question. That's probably the best pound for pound one. And if it's not the best, then I'm biased towards that. For so many different reasons. So many different reasons. How he wrote, how he spoke, his style, the hadith, the purity of his aqeedah. No doubt about that. He came after Tabari, after Qurtubi, and those other ulama, okay? But of course, Ibn Kathir is a bit lengthy. And there are many things in there which, of course, the general person can benefit from, but not organically. Not organically. Many things you can, but many things it's gonna need to be extracted for you and broken down for you. And other tafsirs aren't like that, in which you can just go right into it. Student, alim, ami, everyone. Everyone understand this? So if you got a summarized tafsir Ibn Kathir, then that's excellent. That's excellent. Also, Fathul Qadir, Shawkani rahimahullah, is an excellent book. It's a very wholesome book, pound for pound. Very wholesome. There are many modern day tafsirs. A Tafsir al-Muyassar is an excellent book. But it's nothing like Ibn Kathir, which is meat, lahm, steak, hadiths, isnad. You're not going to get your full off of that. You see what I'm saying to you? So it can't be pound for pound, right? This is one of the people, they say why certain boxers can't be the best pound for pound. This is good, that's good, but they say it's not enough power in his fists. That's nice, that's pretty, but he doesn't have enough what? Not enough power. Weak hands, broken hands, whatever you want to say, it's not enough what? Say it's not enough power. And then others are going to say, no, he is the best pound for pound. But pound for pound means everything is generally what? Balanced. It's a few, but it's all one what? Standard. And there are a few flaring columns. A few columns which are what? High up. But the other ones don't go but what? So low. So I would say Tafsir Ibn Kathir, the summarized version of Tafsir Ibn Kathir. Wallahu alam.
Next question comes from Melbourne, Australia. Initials EN. Assalamu alaikum Mufti. Can Surah Al-Mulk be read in a sleeping position before sleep at night?
Can Surah Al-Mulk be read in a sleeping position when a person is going to sleep at night? The question is from the land down under, Australia. Hopefully we'll be there soon. Bi'idhnillah. May Allah make it easy. Reading the Quran, as Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah has established, is the greatest dhikr. The greatest type of dhikr is the Quran. There's no doubt about that. And since it's the greatest type of dhikr, dhikr can be made in different positions. Allah says those who remember Allah standing, sitting, and lying upon their sides. And they ponder over the creation of the heavens and earth. And they say, oh our Lord, you have not created this in a folly. Right? You haven't made this what? In play. Batila. So, with that being said, if the dhikr of Allah is reciting the Quran, and reciting the Quran is the dhikr of Allah, then it can be made in any what? Position. Unless we have a specific hadith stating that you can't recite the Quran laying down. Or you can't recite the Quran in ruku' or sujood, etc. As far as culture, different story. As far as with the Qur'an, once more we said this, their rulings, we have different ahkam. You can't recite the Quran unless you're facing the Qibla. You can't recite the Quran if you're lying down, so on and so forth. That has to be proven and supported by the explicit, authentic sunnah. And if we don't have that, the asl is الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا قُعُودًا wa on their sides. Alright, everyone understand this? So therefore, I don't see anything wrong with reciting the Quran laying down. Rather, there are many supplications that you may make before you go to sleep and you're lying down. This is Ayatul Kursi. وَهَكَذَا. So I don't see anything wrong with that. Alright? As far as Surah Al-Mulk and reciting it before we go to sleep and then protecting from the grave, that's a discussion in itself. Wallahu a'lam. Fadha Abdullah. Tayyib. Question is with regards to the hadith of Hercules. And if you turn away, then you will have the sin of the Arasiyin. What does that mean? What did you research? Did you research? And what book? You didn't read Fathul Bari? Have here a version? Up there is a version? There's at least 3 versions of Fathul Bari here in this masjid. You're going to look at first or you want me to tell you? Inshallah. If you don't find it, come back to when? Inshallah. Tayyib. Jazakallah khairan. Next question.
Again from Melbourne, Australia. Is wearing white gold permissible?
Is wearing what?
White gold permissible.
Question from Melbourne, Australia. Is wearing white gold permissible? No, it's not. You cannot wear white gold. And that's because jewelry specialists, they say that the percentage of pure gold, red gold, or the yellow gold, the actual real gold in the white gold is very high. From my humble research, from what I found, and Allah Alam, I'm not an expert in this, but from my research, is that it's no less than 60%. No less than 60%. And obviously that's more than half. If it was 40%, if it was mixed, blended, so on and so forth, one could make an argument. But from what I've read and studied, that it's at least, at worst, it's 60%. Meaning that there are many types that are what? Far higher. And it takes the ruling of the actual what? Yellow gold. Wallahu alam. Unless it's a woman, of course. For a man, no.
Initials UT from Durham, North Carolina. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh, Allah bless you. Please help me answer my question, inshallah. What tafsir and Arabic books would you recommend the layman to read?
Question from North Carolina. What tafsir and Arabic books, you said?
Yes.
Would you recommend the layman Muslim to read? May Allah bless you as well. As far as tafsir, then the summarized version of Ibn Kathir is excellent. And the big one is excellent. Like we just saw, ask a question about something that you don't understand, that leads you into the path of knowledge. And then being reverted back to the research also is a means of you what? Increasing the knowledge and appreciating it more. And perhaps with Allah Ta'ala, when you look in the Fathul Bari, or even before then, perhaps, Allahu Alam, no promise, maybe I'll show you some research techniques of Google. Because Google is a resource nowadays. And we're not against those who say, no, that's not true. The internet is an integral part of our lives. Like it or dislike it. It's the haqq. The internet and life is like this. That's a standard of any coffee shop, any hotel, any airport, any establishment today. You must have what? Wi-Fi. So with that being said, no one in their right mind would deny the power of Google and the benefit of Google. You type in a sentence, split second, hundreds, thousands of results of authentic books, information. No one is going to say you can't use that. But every student of knowledge doesn't know how to use Google properly. And it's something in Medina, I try to teach some of the brothers there, how to properly use Google, how to properly search for something, what to put in. And there lies no doubt, it's just like a bookstore or it's just like an index or anything else. It's not about doing it, but it's how you do it. And I can challenge you, ask me a question or a fatwa, hadith. I can find it in 10 different ways. And another person who was inexperienced, he may not be able to find it if he types in a paragraph. You have to know how to use it. You have to know what websites are good and what to look for and what not to look for, what to avoid. It's a skill. It's a workshop. Maybe one day we do a workshop on it. Perhaps. I say what? Perhaps. Okay. At the end of the day, I would say Tafsir Ibn Kathir, the full version and a summarized version. And if you stumble across something, you ask a question, you research it, you look into it. And when you ask a question, you may get placed into another direction, which will also give you more. So just because something is big or something may be a little difficult doesn't mean it's not good for you. Everyone understand this? Of course, they've translated versions or sections of Sa'di's tafsir. Alhamdulillah, that's excellent. However, I don't know how good the English is. Is it robotic? Is it choppy? Or is it smooth like he wrote it in Arabic? Allah adri, I don't know. All right? But there's Juz Amma, I know for sure. It's in English of Sa'di. They translate the whole thing. It's available now. There you go. Check it out, inshallah. That's an excellent book. for a student of knowledge, let alone a layman. Tafsir of Ibn Sa'di, the English translation. Inshallah, English translation is good. As far as Arabic books, then get a teacher before you actually have a book. Try to get a teacher. If you can't find a teacher, then you try to find the books. Or study the classes that are online that are posted. But try to find a teacher first. Teacher is more important than a book, inshallah. But if you want a book, of course, there's Arabiya Bayni Yadayk. The Medina books are good. There are many different books. I would advise for you to take a book for Arabic school children that has basic, simple vocabulary, and go and sit with someone that can break down those words for you and make you memorize them until you grow out of the book. You memorize all the words, then it gives you another book until you start taking some basic grammar. وهكذا. Wallahu alam.
Next question. Initials WB from Overland Park, Kansas. Assalamu alaikum, dear Sheikh Abu Ramla. Can you please recite some Quran for us?
Question is from Kansas. Dear Sheikh, could you please recite some Quran for us? My ikhfa isn't what? Up to par like some others, huh? No. At the end of the day, please forgive me for denying your request. I don't consider myself a reciter of the Quran, nor do I consider myself with a gifted voice. I never have and I never do. I lead the salah or recite the Quran because I have to. But I think there are many other brothers that can recite the Quran much more beautifully than me. But if you want it and it's a must, then come and pray Jumu'ah in person. And which is no way I can wiggle out of it. Unless we get Sheikh Imam Mukhtar to lead the salah, Abdul Basit Jr. Inshallah. Or Husri Jr. Khalid. Al-Muhim. If you can't come to New York City, then perhaps one day we'll come and visit you in Kansas, in which you can hear us recite some of the Quran in person. But there are many, many people that you can listen to the Quran which are 10 times better than what? Than me. Wallahu alam.
Next question comes from Initial OS, Columbia, Missouri. For the silent prayers, is one supposed to recite in a whisper manner, and should it be low enough that only they can hear themselves? Also, how should they articulate the letters, ayn, ha, etc.?
Inshallah, we'll answer this question hopefully tomorrow night. Bidnillah. We'll try to take this question first, along with, we'll see what Abdullah comes up with. And also the question regarding the Sahih Muslim. I saw in some comments, alhamdulillah, there's been some feedback with regards to me sending them back to do the research like I just did to you. And why is there more than one book, so on and so forth, of the same title or similar title in Sahih Muslim. We'll try to give those questions precedence tomorrow night, by Allah's permission. Jazakumullahu khairan. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam wa barak ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyina wa imamina Muhammad.